What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Reezy Talks. This is episode 80, and I'm sorry we're 4 hours early today, but we just had to do it because we got to get it done. But in exchange, I brought you some fire.
Reezy Talks. This is episode.
See, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. It's all good. But I brought you some fire. I got my man Kendall Ficklin here. What's up, Kendall?
Great grind day, great grind day. This is your daily grind. Let's go. What's happening?
What's up, man? Awesome. So, quick backstory. I met Kendall at Social Proof Conference that was ran by David Shands, Sleep is for Suckers, in Atlanta. And I didn't get a lot of time to talk with him, but I was sitting through his presentation, and I was just moved by his words, the way he speaks, his story, and just the power that he was able to put into words. If you guys don't go to conferences, you might not know this, but when you get to listen to someone who speaks well and can put the power through their words to you, it can change you. You can leave with a whole new version of yourself, which is totally different than dry tactical stuff, which is what a lot of the reseller stuff is. So I'm happy to bring more non-reselling content to you guys. So Kendall's here. We're going to talk about his story. We're going to talk about motivation, leadership, what he does, and we're just going to have a talk, guys. So I'm happy to have you. I'm happy to have Kendall. And if you want to, please do so. Go connect with Kendall. The links are in the YouTube description for his Instagram and his YouTube. Go show him some love. He got almost 400 videos on YouTube. So you can't say he's not putting the work in. So go check it out. But aside from that, enough about me, man. Let's talk about you. Who is Kendall Ficklin?
Man, they ask me that question so often. And, you know, a while back, I used to answer the question based on what I did, not who I am. And I think so often, a lot of, especially entrepreneurs, people that are in business, we always focus on what do you do. So when somebody asks me, who are you? I am a husband. I am a father. I am somebody that cares about other people. And I am the person that loves to serve. Like, I just love to serve. And so I always say that up front. That ain't like what I do is different. Now, here's the crazy thing, though, Reezy. I always tell people who you are should be a direct reflection of what you do.
Yeah,
right.
That makes sense.
Hold up, watch this. So years ago, you know, when I had the barbershops, and even before the barbershops, I was doing stuff on eBay. I was selling computers on eBay. I was doing all sorts of illegal activity. But I was doing stuff, selling bags and stuff. And I always had that quote unquote hustler or entrepreneurial spirit, right? So that has been in me from day one. And so now when people ask me, what do I do? Like, it's the same grind, the same hustle, different product, different service.
Yep. We're still securing the bag.
Secure the bag.
It's funny, man, because people don't understand. Like, I'm the same way. I don't know your background exactly, but, you know, I sold candy at school. You know what I mean? I couldn't ever ask my father for $1 ever. Like, I already knew the answer to that. And then later, you know, when I started hanging out with, you know, friends that had like older brothers and stuff, you know, I sold a little bit of weed on the side. I'm talking like 11 and 12 years old. That was my introduction to the game. And I started to realize, you know, you go from taking a little bit to charging a little bit more to selling a little bit on the side or whatever. And I didn't even realize it at the time, but that put me in the game big time. And then when I started on eBay, I was like, oh, it's the same. It's exactly the same. And I just want more people to realize that, because there's kids out here on the streets, on the corner, doing illegal stuff, and nobody is telling them, like, hey, you know more than like people that went to business college for business. Like, you know everything. Yeah. The streets taught you, and what you know can be used in a legal way.
Yeah, I did. I worked with a school a couple of years ago. A few years ago, actually. We ran a program for the kids, and it was Hustle 101, right? They allowed us to call it that. And I had the kids in the school, and, you know, I used to sell, like, of course, I used to sell. So I did this little exercise with them. And, you know, I said, how much are you putting in? How much work are you selling? I did that. They said what they were selling. How much is your profit? That's after your re-up. Right. And they did that. And I said, all right, at the time, I think Wendy's was paying $7 to $8 an hour. And I said, multiply that by 20 hours. And after they did the math, there wasn't that much of a difference in what somebody at Wendy's made or what they were making on the corner, on the block, taking the chances. And I was able to show them like, it's just not worth it. It's
Right.
not. And they looked at it like, wow. Like I said, you got to know your numbers.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is,
that is I face that all the time. So I'll make a video and I'll be like, hey, I spent, $1,000, profits looking like about 500. And then there'll be grown adults that will say, something's not right. You spent 1,000 to make 500. I said, good Lord, profit after I make my money back. And it's funny because people in the street trade know this. You know what I mean? Like I forget what rapper it was, but he said something like, you ain't flossing, you just flashing all your re-up money. That ain't even your money unless you're getting out the game right now.
Yeah. So this is one of the things I did when I used to have my shops, right? So I used to tell people, listen, hustle for your business. Don't turn your business into a hustle.
Yep.
And that right there is key, because even now, I'm talking about right now, some clients that I work with, matter of fact, I just gave a few clients this exercise to do over the first quarter, 90 days a year. I want you to put down everything that you invested or spent in your business. That's coaching, conferences, programs, educate, whatever that is, cameras, whatever that looks like. And so one particular client came back and it was like 10,000, right? And so then I said, on the other side of that, I want to know how much revenue have you brought in? And it wasn't anywhere near the 10,000. And so what I said to him was, right now you're in the red, like you hustling backwards right now. And I had them do that because they kept telling me that they wanted to go to this conference and learn that. They wanted to do more with me. They wanted to, and I'm like, at a point, you got to stop pouring, you got to stop spending money and invest money. And even when you go and you get a product, like I used to go to New York and get Coach bags. And then I used to come back and I would put them up on eBay and I would sell them. I knew how much I was paying for the Coach bag. I knew how much the eBay fees were. I knew how much everything was. And when money came back, I would have money. And then I say, I just got to go to the side for the re-up. Just got to go to the side. This is profit, but now I got expenses because I'm going to have to fly back to New York. Yep. And these are simple things that young people, older people, anybody that's in business, you have to know, because one of the key things in business, even after you secure the bag, you got to know your numbers.
Yep.
And so I like to say, like an OG told me years ago, he said, Kendall, most hustlers can't count.
Yeah, you got to be able to count your money, man. If you can't count money so fast that, people think you might have worked at a bank in your previous life, you're not hustling. You know what I mean? Keep the money in order, the right bills with the right bill, facing the right way. You know what I mean? Keep it clean. Don't be crumpling it up. Like and not even just business, right? Like I have an 18-year-old daughter in her first year of college, and she's just starting to learn. I don't think she has any bills yet, but she has, she works regularly now. So we take half of her check and put it in savings, and shortly, she's got a few thousand saved up, she's 18 years old, but it's very important. A lot of people don't know. It's simple. What are your expenses every month? Your rent, your bills, approximately how much on food? How many times do you get paid? You get paid twice a month. Okay, let's divide that by 2. Every time you get paid, you got to put that much money to the side. Yeah. But a lot of people are like, well, this week I'm going to do this and this and this and whoop-de-whoop. I'll get it all on the next one. No, you won't. You still got to eat next time.
Yeah. No, you won't. It's not like, it sounds good now. That's why I always tell people, you can't rely on yourself to always do everything that you think you want done, because you're going to let yourself down every day of the week. I did it this morning. I woke up this morning and I said, I need to go hit the treadmill. And then I don't know what happened, but I jumped on the call. Then time flew by and I was like, man, I didn't hit it. I ended up jumping on the treadmill at lunch today in between calls. And so I jumped on the treadmill and got it in. But you can't depend on yourself. You have to put systems in place, and you got to be able to say, like, yo, this right here is important. So let me add on to what you said. One of the things I do and I share with people is create what I call two accounts. One is a spend to invest, right? Save to invest. And then another one is a war chest, right? So my son runs the real estate part of our business. And so I'm telling my son, look, we're going to take this percentage of the revenue and it goes into the war chest. The war chest is to do more business with. The save to invest account is to get that to a certain point to invest it in something else. So he hit me up last week. He was like, Pop, like we We got a potential great deal. We need 20,000. Boom, boom, boom. I said, look, take it from the war chest, because that's what the war chest is for. And so everybody that's listening to this call, don't matter what you're selling, doesn't matter how you're doing, you got to make sure that you have both or one of these two, a spend to invest and a war chest. One of them is for your short game and one is for your long game.
Yeah, no, definitely. You have to, otherwise you're just running the treadmill the whole time. Hey, real quick, Kendall, let's see if we can improve your audio. I think you're using the laptop audio and not the AirPods. So in Hangouts, click on the settings real quick, the gear icon. Yep. And then when that comes up on the middle option, make sure you have the AirPods chosen. I believe you're using them for the headphones already, but not for the mic. Because I'm getting a lot of room noise. I could be wrong, but I think maybe you're not using the AirPod mic. Does it say AirPods in that middle option on the settings?
Yep, it is. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think I'll probably get better sound if I use my internal microphone.
On the laptop?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, just as long as the speakers are still going through the AirPods, we'll be fine. Either way, it is what it is. We'll try and fix it in post. But yeah, man, it's super important to yeah, so now you got to make sure.
Yeah, I got it. Can you hear me?
It's just super. Yeah, I can hear you. I can also hear myself though on the feedback. So you got to have the headphones in, and in Hangouts have it chosen for AirPods for speaker. And then you can have the laptop for the mic if you like. It would just say internal microphone built in.
So yeah, that's what I'm using, internal microphone built in and internal speakers.
Yeah, so use the AirPods for the speakers and then put them back in your ears.
Gotcha.
And if you can change the internal mic to AirPods too, I think that will sound better for us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. All right.
Either way, I'm done messing with technical stuff. So, but yeah, like what you were saying is I want to dig into this thing about how you'll let yourself down every day of the week, because I think it's really easy to let yourself down, is you're the only person there. You know what I mean? You can forget that very easy. It might hurt for a little bit, but you can forget it, you know? And so yesterday, I'm just going to run over my day. Yesterday, I had a low-key panic attack and some anxiety. And it wasn't because I was working so much. It was because I wasn't getting enough done. It was because everything was slipping through my fingers. I let myself down. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't meet up with my friend. And not even just me. I didn't meet up with my friends at the gym, who I said I was going to be there. I let my family down because it was a weekend and we barely did anything, just for like 3 hours, not the whole day. I let my business partner down because I didn't do the work I was supposed to do. And I was just freaking out. And I hit a ceiling. And after I calmed down and removed myself from the situation, I realized that I need that. Like, I need that. Just me, I don't learn. I am stubborn. You need to punch me in the face. I need to lose some money, or I need to feel like shameful, or like, you know, feel like I hurt other people, you know, and like why did I do this? Because it's not the same when I let myself down. It doesn't make me feel bad. And so for me, realizing this, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I need scheduling now. Like, I need insane amount of scheduling. Everything needs to be scheduled. And that's what I'm moving forward towards. But after I thought about that, and in my head, I was like, yo, quit being a bitch. Get your scheduling in order. And when I shifted from a victim mentality to, oh, man, I'm having anxiety, to, wait a minute, like, you've been through this kind of thing before. Just crush it, go through the ceiling, build a new ceiling, and figure out where that's at. I just felt a lot better, but I was just thinking, it put everything in perspective as to what's important. You know what I mean? I was in the car, we're going to the amusement park, and I get on my phone like I normally do because I'm passenger and I don't want to drive at all because I can work on my phone, you know? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be present in this moment. And what am I doing on my phone? I'm answering DMs. Like, why am I drawn to, I mean, I want to help my audience, but the return on that is not worth it for me in that situation. You know what I need to do it in a different way. And so I did, okay, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to review the video that the editor did and leave notes, because I have to do that. And then we can move forward. But it just put it all in perspective, man. You can lose your mind trying to chase every single opportunity. You got to start saying no to things. You got to have your scheduling up. I mean, you seem to be a pretty, you know, deep into the scheduling game. What are your thoughts on that kind of stuff?
I'm tight with it, to be honest with you, Reezy. And you and I talked before about our assistants. I live and breathe through my calendar, not just business, but my personal stuff is on the calendar. So my wife will look at the calendar and schedule dates. Like today, my calendar back to back to back all day, and she saw like a 30 window, and she texted me and said, I need to talk to you 15 minutes about boom, boom, boom. I see that you don't have a call between this time and this time. And so like somebody asked me one time, how do you balance it all? And I told them, I don't do balance, I do rhythm. And so my life and my business functions from my calendar. So I block time for on my calendar, literally it says 4 a.m. rise and grind. That means wake up. From 4 to 5, I'm doing meditation, I'm journaling, that type of thing. Between 5 and 5:30, my trainer's coming. We training at the house. At 5:30, I got my coffee. Right after my training, I got my coffee. It's on my calendar. All of this is on my calendar. Then I get my day started, whatever appointments, meetings. Now, here's the difference. If my wife or my kids, I'll put on my calendar driver training for my 15-year-old. When I'm with them, I do my best to be with them. Right. So like you're doing a podcast right now. You're not on the phone doing other things on the podcast. You're focused on the podcast, right? And because of that, you can put your entire attention. But yet, when we with our wives or our families, we feel like it's okay for us to on the side. Let me reply to this DM or let me reply to this text. And no, you have to be where your feet are.
Right.
And that's what I learned because I know what's important. My business means nothing if I ain't got my family.
Yep. Amen, man. And that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking, how foolish is this? I have all these bullshit excuses why I missed, why we didn't go do this, why we did this, why my family's always waiting on me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the whole reason is, but I'm doing this for us. You know what I mean? So that I could wait. I'm doing this for us so that I could spend time with you. But wait, I just didn't spend time with you. You know what I mean?
It got me so hard one day. I got that effort assessment. You saw it when we
we should do that on the show for everyone.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Explain it real quick. So, hey guys, grab a pen and a piece of paper. If you're driving and listening, don't grab a pen and paper. Just make a mental note. You think they could do it in their head?
Probably not. But
okay, so later,
don't do it and drive though.
Just later, come back to this episode and do the exercise. But go ahead and listen to it right now. So lay it on them, Kendall.
Okay, so listen, one of the first things that you have to do is identify the 3 most important areas in your life, right? The 3 most important areas in your life. Now, here's the thing. Most people, it's relationship, business, finance, career, health, things like that. The 3 most important areas. Now, there are some people, Reezy, that will say, me, I'm the most important. And that's where I say, stop. You're going to let yourself down. Don't even do that to yourself because that's not going to work. Don't say me. Make it some things. Relationships, health, family, marriage, kids, finances, career, whatever that looks like. And you write down the 3 most important areas. Like
what are your 3?
So you write in one column, you write 1, and in the second column, you write 2, and in the third column, you write number 3. 3 most important areas, just 1 for each column. Right under that, under each most important area, I want you to ask yourself and answer yourself the question on a scale from 0 to 100%. On a scale from 0 to 100%, how much effort, not time, how much effort are you putting into each of those areas? So let's just say, for example, your first area is health. How much effort on a scale from 0 to 100% are you putting into your health? Now, let me just explain what effort means. Effort means that you do it when you don't feel like doing it. Effort means that you do it when you might not have enough time. You might maybe supposed to be somewhere else, but you go and do it anyway because you said it's important. How much effort do you put into it on a scale from 0 to 100? And put that down for each individual area. So in my health, I'm doing, and look, here's the key to this, guys. Here's the key. You have to be completely honest with yourself. Be completely honest with yourself. Here's the key. So once you have a percentage for each area, we are going to get the average. Now, for those of us that didn't do that well in school, that means we're going to divide. We're going to add up each of the percentages and then divide by 3. Add up each percentage and divide by 3.
All right, I got mine.
All right, now let me say this. The very first time I did this, a few years ago with my wife, as I was putting one of my marriage or my relationship with my wife was one of my most important areas. And so I like 70 something percent is how much effort I was putting in. She looked at that and was like, no, ain't no way in the world. No, you ain't putting in that much effort. She said, I give you 40% maybe. And it just made me realize. Now, here's the other thing, guys. Another one of my most important areas was business, right? And that joint was at like 90%, which is right. So I told my wife, and you had alluded to this earlier, Reezy. I told my wife, I'm like, nah, everything that I'm doing in business, I'm doing for you, like I'm doing for us. And she was like, but I'm not seeing the benefit of it. Matter of fact, I'm seeing the negative side of it because you don't have the energy to give me what I need. Right. So we're doing it. We do it for the family, but we're not including them in the process. And that means giving them what they need, the time. So what was your score that you came up with?
So my 3 areas is relationship. And I don't know if I picked the right 3, but I think I did. Relationship, which is, my wife and my family. Health, which is, I need to work out more, eat better. And then business, which is I just put personal brand, which is separate from business. When I say business, I would think, my Amazon business, but personal brand is a different business. It's my larger opportunity. So the full honesty here, and I don't want nobody else lying. Put your numbers in the chat. I'm 50% across the board.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's me being fully honest. I know I can do better, but not until I get my systems in place.
Yeah. Think about this for a second. You are 50%. On average, your total score of effort in the 3 most important areas of your life is 50%. Now, how many kids you got?
2.
And how old are they?
One is 7 and one is 18.
Now, the 18-year-old is perfect. As they're going through high school, if they brought home grades at like 50, they brought home 50s, what's your response to them?
Oh, I'm about to go get a switch on them. It's not good. It's not a good look for them. Yeah.
It's not a good look. And it's not a good look for you either. And that's why I tell people, like,
I want that honor roll bumper sticker on top of the last honor roll bumper sticker.
Exactly. So here's what I tell people, like, we push our kids or we push other people to be great. And sometimes ourselves, like, we'll push ourselves and other people to be great, but we're not being great in the most important areas of our, and so a lot of people be like, well, I'm putting in 90% in my business, but your life isn't only business. You got a wife, you got kids, you got a girlfriend, you got a boyfriend, you got a family, you got people that account. And so I always ask people 3 very important questions. What do you want for your life? The second question is, what are you willing to let go of to get it? And the third question is, who's counting on you? Those 3 questions, when you start to think about what you want for your life, and you can picture that, and then what you're willing to sacrifice, what you're willing to let go of in order to get that, and then who's counting on you to make that happen. When you start looking at that and you say 50% is the effort in the most important areas of my life, you got to really ask yourself, where do I need to make the adjustments?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's clear as day when you ask yourself those 3 questions, and you could answer them, especially when you look at the effort level too, that you yourself said you were putting in the 3 areas that you yourself also said are the most important. It's not like Kendall made them up. I made them up. Nope. You know what I mean? Exactly. You chose them. It just paints a picture, man.
So here's the great thing in that. So 50% is your average score. Now, there's this thing called muscle memory, and muscle memory is where you are used to doing a certain thing at a certain level. Your muscles, it's that habit. You're used to doing it. So what happens is, even when you say to yourself, I got to do more, I got to stretch myself, I got to do more, you'll begin to go out to do more. Once you get that 50, your muscle memory kicks in and is like, Kendall, we ain't used to going past this 50%. And then you'll try and push, and you'll push. And then what happens is people, they try to go from 50% to 90%. And we're not built like that. And so when you try to just jump from 50% to 60% or to 90%, your muscle memory kicks in and pulls you right back. And then you end up starting and stopping. You'll start and stop. And it's the start and stop process that always hinders your progress. Because most people think when they stop, they go right back to where they left off. but that's not true. You got to go back to the beginning because you got to develop that same old muscle memory and build it up. And a great example of that is I got a guy I've been working with for over a year, right? And one of the things he was trying to get rid of was he was not alcohol, he was drinking too much. So he said, y'all, I don't know what the guy said, send me a text every single day. Day 1 clean, day 2 clean. And I said, look, I may not respond to your texts. Because this is mine. I'm giving you accountability, but I'm also going to make you responsible, whether I reply back or not. Every single day he did it. Right now, we're up to day 500. He's
wow.
Clean.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Now, let me just say this last thing. I got another guy. He's trying to get rid of an addiction. I told him to start, same process. He got up to 60 or 70 days and then sent me a text one day and said, day 0. I said, what happened? He said, I fell off. I said, start back from 0. And he got to build it back up.
You got to, man. That accountability is huge. I have my good friend Mike. He's actually today 10 months sober. So congratulations, Mike. Shout out to Mike. Yeah. And you know, it's cool to see people taking their life into their own hands and making the changes necessary. You know what I mean, to go forward. And I was asking him, I was like, hey, do you meet up with anybody? Do you go to meetings or anything? You know, and he's like, nah, but approaching 1 year, I think I'm going to start going to it because he's like, I think the 1 year mark is like, it's the real serious mark. You know what I mean? Like to push through that 1 year barrier.
So I've been alcohol free for 5 years, right?
Nice.
And so people ask me, I never went to an AA meeting, never did any of that. And people ask me, how did I do it? And the only thing I could say is, of course, grace, but then also I replaced my addiction for an obsession. I am completely obsessed going down this road that I'm going down, being a great father, being a great husband, being a great businessman, being a great person. And because I'm obsessed with that, my obsession, because I believe in subtraction by addition. So think about if you just added 1 green smoothie every single day for the next 5 years, what would your body feel like? What would you stop? What automatically would go away? Just did 1 great thing.
That health percentage about to go up 5%, maybe.
The health percentage is going to go up at least 5%. Exactly. No doubt.
Yeah. So I want to go into your story a little bit too, and what you've done in the past. But real quick, I want to touch on something that I think you can help me with. And that it goes with, you know, like I had like a little anxiety yesterday, and I kind of thought like, you know, I'm doing all this, I'm doing all that, but my life has changed considerably in the last year. And even before that, I kind of was just thinking like, yo, I already made it. Like I already won. I already, you know what I mean? I haven't been broke for a long time. You know what I mean? I'm not like buying Ferraris or anything, you know, and I still don't own a house, but you know, everybody's good. The refrigerator been full for a while. Besides like a house or a car, I could buy anything I want. You know, I'm able to have my own time. I could go skateboarding if I want. My kids get to do like it's everything I ever wanted. And I've already arrived. You know what I mean? Why am I not like relishing in the stuff that I've already achieved? You know what I mean? And it's just because I grew up so poor that literally I feel rich. Myself would say I was a rich person. You know what I mean? From my younger self. And so what I really struggle with is the financial thermostat. Like I really feel like I'm losing a financial drive. Like I like building businesses. I like helping people. And yes, I like money, but I just don't understand, how do I turn it up to the next level? You know what I mean? How do I, you know, I just don't understand. It doesn't drive me. Like I see other people, you know, they're just driven. They're like, oh, I got a 8-figure business, looking for 9, looking for 10. You know what I mean? All I want to do is just go outside and play catch with my kid for a couple hours and not have to work for anybody else. You know what I mean?
But that's your drive right there. I think, I'm going to be honest, what drives you should be intrinsic, not extrinsic. And intrinsic means there's something on the inside, like playing ball with my kids, like being able to be free and do that intrinsic. Now, here's the thing. That drives you to just do the business. I always tell people, Reezy, do business, not money. Because when you do business, it is going to generate money. And so here's my thing. If you let what's inside of you drive you, you're always going to generate money. So you're not putting a cap, or you don't have that thing where you ain't trying to get more money, because you're building your brand. You're going to get other opportunities. Your money is always going to come. Now, I had a theme back in 2018, and it was, I can't go back. I can't go back to broke. I can't go back to being an alcoholic. I can't go back to being that dude that I used to be, not because of me, But now because, since I've made that shift and like you, I can do all these different things. If I go back, everybody else goes back.
Yep. I feel you on that too, because you have accountability through humans that,
Exactly.
their paychecks depend on you. And that's
Exactly.
kind of where I'm starting to get now. I've hired my first domestic employee, and I have, some VAs, and the money's going out,
Yep.
And so that it's exactly like you said, man. If I go back, everybody goes back. I ain't going back.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
Yeah. And
No
as long
way.
as long as you keep that in your head, don't worry, bro, I promise you. And you know it now, money just comes.
Yep.
Sometimes you be like, I don't even know how that happened. It's because you have figured out the system, right? You changed your mindset. My wife called me today and there was somebody that might need some help, some money, right? And I was like, we can't just keep feeding people money, because we know that money is not the problem. It's your mindset that's the problem. The way we think about money. So now, Reezy, you at a spot now where like, yo, you don't think about money like you used to. You just do business and money comes to you. My coach told me a long time ago, he was like, money is going to be the last thing that comes. Once you start and you get the system, you get the model, you got that thing on the inside that's driving you, you will always make money.
Yep. And it's so weird because, I just, sometimes I don't feel like I want to hustle. I got a different hustle now. You know what I mean? And I still do it. I have a business and yada, yada. I'm making videos for YouTube or whatever. But, Mike, who's actually watching this right now, he was going out doing yard sales, etc. My friend. And he's like, oh, I'm out here in the streets. Where are you at? You know what I mean? You're sleeping, And I was like, bro, like there ain't no amount of money that I could make this morning that's going to make me want to not go skateboarding for 2 to 3 hours. Like that's my gym. That's my gym. And that's my church. Like you couldn't pay me $2,000 to miss a T-ball game. You know what I mean? Like it's just different. You know what I mean? So you got to know who you are. What do you want? What are your opportunities? Cause it's not the same for everybody, but I'm competitive. So when I see people on YouTube or on Instagram and they got big, they're hustling hard, you know what I mean? And they're still a one-man show, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, oh, I need to go get it. I still have that feeling like I got to go get it. But I got to get it in a different way now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that comes with maturity. So like, I tell people, I'm 51 years old. I done seen some things, lived through some things, experienced some things. But at 51, my mindset is a little different. So like you, I see people on social media and everything, and they appear as though they're getting it. And they might be getting it, but they're getting it is different than my getting it. Like for me, I'm doing it for the legacy. When I came into this, I was like, when I first started, I literally said, Reezy, I may not be the one that gets the millions. It may be my son that does it, but I'm definitely going to go into it for the legacy and give them the example, not just leave them money. Like give them the example of this is the way you're gonna have to grind to make stuff happen. This is the way you got to do business in order to generate revenue. This, and let them see. Because think about how many lives you changed from people close to you seeing your work ethic and seeing you make that shift. Think about like, bro, I promise you, man, my bonus kids, my wife's kids, they went from calling me Kendall to Pop because I changed my life. My kids went from calling me Pop to Daddy because I changed my life.
I love that you call them bonus kids.
Yeah, bonus kid. My wife went from looking at me sideways to straightaways because I changed my life. And everybody that's connected to me, their life changes because they see my life change. And when you change your life, that's when the money comes. And so I do it for legacy. I do it for the people that are counting on me. That's why those 3 questions are so important. People go out here, you got people on this show that are just caught up in money. And bro, like, once you hit, I think I don't know who I heard say it, but once you get to a certain point, it's relative.
Right.
Like the difference between 50 million and 100, like it's relative.
Right.
Because when you got money and you can make the moves, it's relative. The next thing is, what's important to you? Skateboard. What's important to you? T-ball. What's important to you? Spending the weekend with the fam.
Right.
And you still gonna make money. And so everybody needs to figure out what they want in their life. What are they willing to give up to get it? And who's counting on them?
So here, check this out real quick. I kind of get irked when people tell me, I'm like, what's your passion? And they're like, making money is my passion. And I cut them off right there. I'm like, that ain't a passion, bro. That is not a passion. That is money, and there's nothing driving that but whatever you think you're going to do with the money. And you need to like break that down to really figure out what it is. It's almost like you said, it's a maturity thing. If I ask you a certain question and you say, I like money, I like making money, that's my passion, you ain't ready yet. You're not ready yet. You're still on level 1.
Yeah. Because what happens is when you don't make what you think you're going to make, what do? Do you just jump into something else? What do you like? You ain't got no stability in that. And so here's the thing: money in and of itself. And look, I know it's hard because think about when we were broke, right? And people used to tell us, "You can't do it for the money." It's hard to catch that when you broke. Now,
right? There's levels to it. There's levels to it. But once, at least for me, once the refrigerator was full, everything changed.
Exactly. But for some people, it is once I get this jet, once I go get this Ferrari. But everybody has that at some point, because it ain't but so much. You can go to Dubai and trick off $100 grand, right? But then after that, then what? Where's the next Dubai? So everybody has that different level, but it's a maturity level. Right. And it depends on what their lifestyle is. However, even in the midst of that, you still don't chase the money, chase business. Because here's the thing, Reezy. I look at this thing like decade to decade, not day to day. I think like a CEO, not a boss. There's a difference. So I have all my people get the definition and the roles and responsibilities of a CEO. And CEOs think decade to decade. They're looking to see where the company is and how they're building leaders and growing leaders. And when you start thinking like a CEO, you don't just own a job. You're not just being self-employed. You're building businesses. And those businesses will sustain you for the rest of your life. And remember, who's counting on you and the people that are counting on you.
Super, super duper important, man. Yeah, who's counting on you? The family, the friends that I could give opportunities to. You know what I mean? If I have the ability to build a big empire and make a compound, basically, and, you can have your house over there, bro. You know what I mean? Like I owe it to my people to do that.
Yep.
That's the same reason, like you said, legacy. And the reason that I do this, I mean, initially I did start this to make money and be a YouTuber and whatever, but it changed me once I started getting messages from people. And on the real, the reason I do it is because I don't have a time machine. Like I do not have a time machine. I can't go back in time and help myself, but there's plenty of people that are in the space that I was, when I was younger, or, that my parents were in when they were trying their best to raise me and it wasn't working out so well, and I can help them now. And so that's why I do it.
Exactly. And what happens is once you begin to do that, other doors start opening up. I don't know what they call it. You call it the law of the universe or what, but I found out that the more I give, the more I get. And I know it might sound like cliche-ish or whatever, but it's real
like
talk.
Abundance mentality, law of attraction type stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so when you do that, when you can make that thing happen like that, that's when everything kicks in.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very important. You got a couple books you put out, right?
Yeah, I actually have 5 books. I'm in the midst of working on my latest book that's coming out called Winning in Life and Business. And here's, matter of fact, as we're talking about maturity, right? So I had the book. I started the book in November. The book was supposed to be ready, and had a book cover and everything. Even did some pre-orders. And as I'm maturing and growing, I looked at the book cover and I was like, "That's last year. The look." Right. And I said, "I got to do this book cover going forward." Then I started looking at the content on the inside of the book, and I was like, "This represents where I was,
right? Not
where I am and where I'm going." And so I literally changed the book cover twice. And then I went on the inside and started changing the content, because as I'm maturing and growing, you got to be bold enough. You got to be man enough. You got to have the testicular fortitude to really stand on what you believe and take the people on your journey. But more importantly, make sure that you're giving them who you really are and the direction that you're going. It's easy to put a book together from 5 years. I can do that easy.
Right.
But to open up my life today and then be able to share the direction of the brand, right? so I tell all my clients, I'm like, there's nothing more important than your brand.
Right.
And that's the way you look, the way you talk, the way you do business, what people say about you when you ain't around. That's the brand, right? And so as I'm shifting and maturing in my brand, I need that to be so I'm enough to be like,
I feel that as a metaphor for yourself, you know what I mean? Growing, you got to change your own book cover or the contents inside of you. Maybe you need to get a coach, or you need to read some books or invest in some education. But it's like, I mean, I'm still me, but like there's certain things about me that I've changed over the last 3-ish years now that I've been in the spotlight a little bit more. You know what I mean? I'm like, I bite my nails really bad. And so I'm trying to fix that. You know what I mean? Because I forgot that it bothered me, but then other people, they put it in my face enough. And so, you know what I mean? I got to change it. You know what I mean? Also, what else, like just having like my beard lined up and keeping my beard nice. You know what I mean? Like I went 10 years with like whatever beard, like, and I used to have this attitude, like, whatever, I don't care what people think about me. Like the proof is in the pudding. But I got to acknowledge that I might be missing or gaining opportunities or people's attention based on their first perception. I ain't getting past their first perception because, I got scruff and they think I'm some guy who doesn't care. So yeah, I'm going to, clean it up a little bit, get a lineup once a week. You know what I mean? I'm going to get a nice solid black color hat, instead of a crazy wild one when I'm trying to go to conferences and be a little bit more professional. You know what I mean? Or I stopped wearing large shirts. I went back to medium. I don't even know why. All I know is that I look in the mirror and I just go, large ain't gonna work anymore, man. I don't know. I don't know why, but for some reason I care a little bit. You know what I mean? I still got the same style and everything. I'm still wearing Dickies everywhere I go, but I just got to cut them down a little bit.
It's just maturity. And here's what happens as you really get when you get into it. It won't even be the way you look on the outside of the house. It'll be the things you do on the inside. So like I know for me, on the corner on my side of the room, I got books. I just drop my clothes over there when I come home. I got a chair over there and I just throw all my clothes on the chair. And so I told my wife the other day, I better in the room. Because
would you tell your wife real quick? We dropped you for a second.
I got to do better on my side of the room. I got to pick my clothes up because that's brand. Just because the public can't see it, that doesn't mean that it's not on the inside. Because the way, remember the parents used to say, the way you do some things will be the way you do all things. And so I do my best. When I say I live this life, I do my best to do it from the inside, meaning inside my crib, inside my house, to the outside. So making up that bed, making sure I do the dishes before I leave the house, making sure I do the thing, like take care of my wife, make sure I'm there for the kids. Because I can't go out there and tell business owners to be great or speakers, go out there and speak, but your personal life is a mess.
Cream on the inside, clean on the outside.
Yep, exactly right. Exactly.
You gotta keep it clean, man. And I feel you. It's the exact same way, because the more and more you're in the spotlight, the more, the more you're talking the talk, the more you got to walk the walk. And it ain't enough just to walk the walk when you outside the house. You got to walk the walk inside the house. You know what I mean? And it's it's like you said, what were you saying? You were saying, you go on a long trip, you get back from a long trip. What are you doing right when you get back?
Oh, I'm going straight to the house and spending some time with the wife. Matter of fact, I got one better for you, Reezy.
Didn't you say you came home and just immediately did the dishes and just clean up? Like,
oh yeah. When I was at the conference, I was in Baltimore and I went to Baltimore for a 1-day trip to meet with a client. And I came back that night and it was late and I was tired. And the next day I had the conference to speak at. And then I was ironing, getting ready to go to the conference. And I wasn't supposed to speak until 2 or 2:30. And I was like, okay, getting ready to go. And my wife came out and was like, where you going? And I was like, I'm going to conference to speak. And she was like, no, you're not. I'm like, what you talking about? She said, you need to go do the dishes. Now I could have pulled rank and was like, I get that. I ain't, but I was like, she want me to do the dishes. I got to do the dishes. And she told me straight up. Yeah, she told me straight up. She said, you can't go tell everybody else to be great. You ain't being great.
Oh, she got you, bro.
Bro, with my own stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that goes back to making sure that you got somebody in your corner that's going to keep you accountable, right? That's going to keep you solid. And when you can do that, you're going to stay solid. Like people like that, you'll never be broke.
Right. That's awesome. Does your wife work with you?
Yeah, now she does. I just pulled her off her job. She was project management. She was doing a sweet six figures, and we pulled her off in January. And now we do life and business together.
Awesome. Awesome. So what role does your wife play in your business?
So she's the COO. She's the chief operating officer.
Oh, that is a good position for a wife.
Yep. She's the COO, chief operating officer. I'm heads up, she's heads down. I'm looking at the vision and looking at the scope, and she's heads down, looking at the numbers, making sure everything is lining up. So it works out well.
Including not actually making sure you're doing this or that, but setting it out for you to do, right?
Yeah, making sure.
And then the assistant is the one that's on you.
Yep, my two assistants.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what I said earlier, Reezy. Like, you got to think like a CEO, because my vision is going to come out in black and white, but I need important, powerful people around me to take my black and white and add some color to it.
Yeah.
So that we can get the vision accomplished.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing, and I don't know why it is. I see things in pure black and white. I'm like, if it ain't like this, it's like this. And then they're like, no, there's like 3 colors of gray in between here. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about that as an option. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Because as we think quick, we get visions. We think quick. Let's move on it. So like I just told my sister today, I want to do boom, 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 boom. She's like, wait, slow down. You can't just do boom, 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 boom. We got to make sure we dot our I's and cross our T's. And that's what they're for. And when you're thinking like if I was just thinking like self-employed, or I was just thinking like an entrepreneur or a hustler, I would just be like, let me just go do it and get it done. Yep. But it's only so much you can do on your own. Like when I used to cut hair, I used to sit in my shop and be like, at the end of the night, and be like, yo, I must have cut at least 50 heads. I can't cut no more, which means I'm putting a cap on my income. So you want to create your system and create your business so that if you're not there, you can still generate income, whether that is an automated system or whether that is somebody else making sure the business is getting taken care of.
Yep. Because if the business is dependent on your daily effort, you know what I mean? What happens if, you break your leg? You break both legs. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you're a speaker and that's the only income you have, and you get, I don't know, some kind of throat cancer or something, you can't speak no more. What are you going to do? Or you sick for 3 months? I don't know. You got to have backup plans. You got to have multiple. How many businesses do you have, Kendall?
Bro, I was just about to tell you, like, I ain't playing. Literally last year, I got hoarse and I lost my voice. Like, I can't talk. And I got scared. And I was like, oh yeah, no, this is not going to happen. We do real estate, wholesale, and fix and flips. And we cleaning company, commercial cleaning company. We got, of course, the speaking, the coaching groups, and then we're looking at doing the trucking business.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you do all adults with your leadership programs, or do you do kids as well?
Oh man, that's phenomenal. In July, we're actually kicking off the G Academy, right? And what that's going to be is we're going to be working with elementary and middle schoolers and running them through our academy as a summer program. We're going to get sponsors for everything. I want to make sure that the kids don't have to pay for it, or the parents. We get sponsors, and we're going to teach them communication, leadership skills, but then also physical endurance. So it won't be like a basketball camp. It'll be like a performance camp.
Nice.
Which means they'll have physical performance stuff that they'll have to do. And then we're going to do communication sessions, leadership sessions, things like that.
Yeah. Let me know if you need a YouTube instructor, man. I'll do it for free for the kids.
It's already done. You just let me know. That's what that was.
Yeah, I'm in, man. I want to share my stuff with the kids, man. So
let's go.
They listen. I talked to a lot of adults, and just happened to me yesterday. I ran into a dude. He was like, oh, I've been following your stuff, and I don't know how much he consumed, but he started asking me questions. So I started giving him a free consultation, like at least $200 worth of value in a half hour. I watched his eyes glaze over, and I was like, okay, I'm done now, because he ain't going to absorb any more information. But I wanted to keep going. Man. I love it. You know what I mean? But when I see the kids listen. If I show up, if you tell them, hey, we got a guy, he's going to teach you YouTube, he's a 100K YouTuber, they're going to listen. I would have showed up myself. You know what I mean? So I love it when they're receptive to the information. It's, when you're giving out the information and they're not taking it in, I feel slighted. Like, yo, I just gave you the gift. I just put my soul on a platter for you, and literally it's my soul. and they just looked at it. You know what I mean? I'm like, suck that thing up. Don't let it evaporate. Like,
yeah, I've adopted this motto. And right before I got on the phone with you, I was on the phone with somebody adding value to their life. I've adopted this motto. I'm going to meet you where you are, right? And you got to want it for yourself more than I want it for you. Because if you don't, you're not going to put the effort in that's necessary to get it. Because it's not just about the information. So here's the thing. Most people think that it's about getting the information or reading the book or posting the video. And that is only one part of the equation. It's actually about what you do with the information that you get. It's actually about what you do after the video gets posted. And that's the execution part. And most people want to stay stuck with that first.
And to be fully honest, I think in my niche, like a make money selling type thing, and the conferences and all the information, it's really dry, you know, and that's cool. I love to learn a technique, a tactic, a business model I could employ, but you could get overwhelmed so easy. I see a million ways to make money on the internet, right? And so I got pages of things I'm supposed to do, opportunities. I'm just giving them away for free because I'll never do it. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's just the motivation really kicks you into gear. I went to so many reselling type things, and then I started going to conferences that had motivational speakers or things that were outside of technical stuff. And I would leave there feeling like $1 million, $1 zillion. And I was like, wow, I feel really good. I feel like I'm ready to take over the world right now. And I had to think about it like, wow, the motivational stuff is huge. And when I was younger, not even too much long ago, maybe like 5 years ago, I didn't have abundance mentality. I didn't believe anything was possible. I thought motivational speakers were scam artists. You know, I was like, Tony Robbins, oh, that's a scam artist. But now I know it doesn't matter. Like, what matters is how it makes you feel in the inside. You know what I mean? What you do. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm not religious and you are. I don't care. The outcome is good. You're a good person. You know what I mean? I don't care what you believe, how you doing it. I just need to get to that space. And if you can get me there, let's go, you know?
Yeah. So I tell people all the time, focus on the principle, focus on what the thing that's not said, like focus on that principle that's found in that thing. And the common principle is one that will get you some great results.
Yep, that's true. That's what Gary Vee always says. Watch what I do, not what I say. Because he's saying one thing, and that's cool too. But there's other things he's not saying that you can only pick up if you watch what he's doing.
And that's the
right. You watch the ad, watch how he puts his ads, watch where he puts his ads, watch how, you know, oh, he did a Instagram live for 10 minutes, and somewhere in the middle of that 10 minutes or at the end, he made a call to action or pitched something or whatever, but he does it in a right way. It's not just he puts a pitch on an Instagram post, or, you know what I mean? You don't even see it. If you consume everything he does, you see it and you hear it. But if you're kind of just like superficially looking at him, you ain't seeing all the asks or the call to actions or none of that stuff. And that's a strategy.
Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. Most people are only listening. Like a very small percentage of people are actually watching, are going to catch it and execute on what he says. And he knows that, we know that, everybody knows that. But look, it's that small percentage of people that score from the assessment in those 3 most important areas, that's going to take you from 50% to 80% to 70% in your total score, not just in one business area, in your total score.
Awesome. Yeah, totally, man. Where we didn't get any time to go into your backstory, so I'm gonna have to get you back on the show. But where can people find you at?
Yeah, I always like to tell people, just Google me. Like there was a time, Reezy, when if I told somebody to Google me, they just see the mugshot. So I always say Google me because I let my good deeds outweigh my bad deeds, and that mugshot is so deep down in Google. So if they just Google my first and last name, all of my information, my website, and everything will pop up.
Awesome. Any speaking gigs coming up for you?
Yeah, I'm on the road. I'm actually headed to Chicago tomorrow. Wednesday, I'll be in Chicago for 2 days. And then this month I'm in Washington, D.C. I'll typically post my schedule on my social media, but I'm on the road. I'm hitting the road now to June. In July, we're doing the G Academy, the camp with the kids. That's awesome. And then August back out on the road.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking this hour with me to be on the show, man. If you guys enjoyed this, please like the video, subscribe, go down to Kendall in the description, Kendall's YouTube, Kendall's Instagram, like, subscribe, go watch some videos, leave some comments. I guarantee there's a lot of motivational stuff in there for you. And like I said, motivational stuff is power. If you ever wondered how people keep going or stay motivated, this is how. We read inspiring stuff. We listen to inspiring stuff. We meditate. You get wisdom from your mentors. You get motivated. It's just like me. If I feel like I'm in a slump, I'm going to go listen to Gary Vee for a couple days, and then boom, my excuses are gone. You know what I mean? So whatever
it might not take a couple of days. It might just be
an hour, one video. Yeah, that's the point. And that's what the value is in motivation and stuff. So find what it is that what you need to get to where you need to be. And I guarantee you there's someone that will help you, and it's probably giving out content for free. So just go get it.
Man,
anyways, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, Kendall. We got something we say around here. We say, and I know you don't know it, but I'll just say it for you. So we say, if you ain't flipping, you slipping. Peace out, guys. Catch you on the next show next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you very much, Kendall. Have a good day, guys.